Good evening, everybody. Good evening to you. Good morning, good night, whatever time it is. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's conversation. And today we are talking about hormones, weight balance, low libido, low stamina, all those things. We are going to be talking about them right here tonight. So tell a friend to tell a friend and hit me in the comment section and let me know from where you're watching me from, what you're learning, what stands out for you, what you'd like me to clarify. All those things should happen right down there in the comment section, and I will appreciate your interactions with me. Also, say hi and let me know what you're thinking this lovely evening. But before we get into the show, this month of October is a bullying sensitization month, meaning people who are on social media, people who are social platforms, we are taking the initiative to create social media bullying awareness. What is it about? How does it affect the people that you're bullying? That one comment, what is the ripple effect of that particular comment that you make? So today I just want to introduce you to that particular sensitization and that creating that awareness in your mind, that whenever you post a comment that is critical to a person who is on social media, because when you're on social media, people feel like they know you. People feel like they can tell you anything. Why? Because they're sitting behind a laptop or sitting behind a phone, and they really don't realize that there's a person on the other side, on the receptive side. They also don't realize that this person has family, relatives, children, all these people that care about them, and the things that you say to them really matter and they count. So, this being the month of preventing social media bullying, I thought that we should kick off the conversation with that. Have you participated in social media bullying? Have you left a comment? We have been doing it for the last, I think, 1 week or 2 weeks. We've been really doing a lot of cyberbullying to our very prominent couple who decided to go their separate ways. And we all decided we want to chip in our opinions regardless. Yeah, you and me, we decided to chip in our opinions about whatever, that we don't know what was happening between them. And somebody even went out of their way to create a very interesting narrative on the same issue. We also have one of our celebrities who is experiencing some challenges medically and health wise, and we have taken it upon ourselves to actually give this person what is true cyber bullying. So it's very important that we create this awareness so that when you're there, sitting behind that laptop, sitting behind that phone, and you're thinking it's just one comment, I am just one person. It's like the way when you're playing a video game, you can do stuff on that video game that you really cannot do in real life. It's the same effect that a comment, a negative comment about somebody who participates in social media platforms, the ripple effect is crazy. So be careful with what you say. Spread love, don't spread hate. Now, moving on from that particular conversation, and I want to invite you to tonight's conversation. We are talking about hormones. What are these? Are men affected by hormones? Do men have more than one hormone? Because people think that men only have one hormone, testosterone, they don't have any other hormones. They have all the hormones. So, what are hormones? Hormones are, allow me to read it out for you. Hormones are natural substances produced in the body. They help to relay messages between cells and organs and affect many bodily functions. So these are just, they are cells in themselves. There's a production, like there, bile is produced in the stomach, the gas that is used to help us to digest, the bile that sometimes becomes a bit much and we rock it out, that one. So hormones are like that. They play that particular kind of a role in our lives. So when you talk about these hormones, there are four major types of hormones that really stand out, that we all have them, both male and female. Children who are getting into puberty and adolescents also experience hormonal imbalance. Women who get pregnant, when they have not taken care of your hormones, you transfer that hormonal imbalance to your child. That is why unaonanga they are so moody sometimes, and you're thinking, guy, these these are some of the results that come from hormones. So I want us to talk about the estrogen hormone, the major known female hormone, which is the estrogen hormone. It is responsible for puberty, for menstrual, for pregnancy, for menopause. Yani it is a sex hormone. So a female has the estrogen hormone. She also has the progesterone hormone. So when you hear the word estrogen, what should come to your mind is menstrual, puberty, sex hormone, right? Things to relate with sexuality. So when you talk about estrogen and you have low estrogen, that means that you have low libido. We are together. When your estrogen is low, because this is the hormone that is responsible for your sexuality. This is the hormone that helps a woman to develop breasts. This is the hormone that helps you to develop pubic hair. You need to develop your sexual being, the sex that you are, either you're female or male. Even when you see these males who relate more in feminine, they're more feminine, they're more in tune with their femininity, it means their estrogen levels are up here. They need to come a little bit down so that the hormone that's supposed to be more can come up. And hormones work like this. They need to be at a balance. You see the way you go to a butchery and you want to buy a kg of meat, and then they take this particular mawes. I don't know what they're called. If you know what they're called, let me know there in the comment section what those stones are called, the ones that you use to measure meat with. And this tray that you normally put the meat on, you will notice that whenever the person who is the butcher is trying to balance the weight, they normally tap it a bit to make sure the level kind of flows like this, right? It stays right here. It doesn't go beyond, it doesn't go up, and at some point it just stabilizes and it plays like this. That's how your hormones should play. Your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, all your hormones should play at that level. At this point, we're just getting acquainted to the hormones that we have as men and as women. And I say the hormones that I'm talking about tonight affect both men and women. So the other hormone that we have is the progesterone hormone. When you hear the progesterone hormone, especially when you're a woman, you automatically go to pregnancy. You go to the ovaries, it supports fertility, it supports the ability to get pregnant. When I talk about fertility, I'm talking about the ability to get pregnant. The reason why I'm saying this is because I have invited people on this show who are experiencing infertility, and you've checked your tubes are fine, you don't have endometriosis, your ovaries are fine, you release your eggs on time, but still you're not able to conceive, or you're experiencing a delay in this particular season. So the reason could be that your progesterone levels are too low or too high, then you're not able to actually conceive and hold that pregnancy. So when you hear the hormone progesterone, automatically what comes from that, you hear ovaries, because it is produced in the ova, huko kwa womb, kwa tumbo. So it suppresses estrogen. So it works like this. I want you to imagine the weight balancing of a butcher who is trying to measure for you a kg of meat, and they keep touching that plate right there to ensure that there's a balance of some level. So these are the two hormones. Now, when it comes to estrogen and progesterone, they're the female sex hormones, right? They determine your sexuality, your your need to have sexual experience, your physical appearance in terms of the growth of your breast, the growth of your hips, and your bum bum in the back. Some of these are genetics, but also the hormones also play a very key role. The outbreak that you experience acne on your face at a particular time of the month, you just have these people that just pops out from nowhere. So these are the hormones that you need to look out for. And as we continue with this conversation, I will highlight how you can be able to identify when one hormone is too high, that it needs to be, and it's too low than where it needs to be, and how you can find a balance, what you can eat, what you can do to achieve a balance. So now I want to go to the other hormone that we'll be talking about tonight, which is the testosterone hormone. This hormone is affiliated with men. Women as well have testosterone hormone. And a good example of women who have testosterone hormones that illustrate testosterone hormone are women who come across very masculine. I don't know if you have ever interacted with a woman who is very masculine. Hata sauti yake is a bit deep like this one. Oh my God, but my testosterone is at the right place. Their voices are a bit deep, they grow beard, they have beards, they have hair on their faces, they have hair on their chest, they have hair everywhere. It says that the testosterone hormone is a bit high where it should not be. So the testosterone hormone is responsible for your sexual desire for both male and female. But for the female, the one that is mostly responsible for sexual desire is estrogen. I would like to highlight these hormones right there underneath where I'm talking, so that you can be able to Google them and be able to identify them. So, Victoria, estrogen, progesterone. Oh my God, I'm poking my production team in the background. The issues of being live. Anyway, so these are the hormones we are talking about. So when it comes to testosterone, it is responsible for your sexual desires, regulation of your menstrual cycle. It is responsible for your bone and your muscle strength. So it works both ways for female and for males. Are you surprised as a lady to understand that you have testosterone hormone as well? And I know what you're thinking. What is the connection between the hormones and the weight? Where does the weight come in together with the hormones? Hold your horses. I will get right there. I can see a comment right here from Victoria who is saying that weights, armor. Tunafika hapo. We are getting there. We are getting acquainted to the hormones, and then we'll be discussing each and every one of them and how it can affect your hormones. So these hormones, actually, even testosterone participates in the development of breasts, in the growth of pubic hair, in the overall sexual being of you being the sex that you are. When I say the sex that you are, I mean either female or male. So hormonal imbalance can be caused by a lot of things. Number one, I talked about you inheriting it from your parent, from your mother. When they got pregnant, one hormone was haywire, one hormone was so high than the other because of one reason or another, and you inherit it. Doesn't matter what gender you are, whether you're female or male, you can inherit hormonal imbalance from a parent. Number two, you could be suffering from a condition that is called PCOS. PCOS is it, we have there are so many signs of knowing whether you're suffering from PCOS, but for tonight, I'd recommend that you do specifically a test to confirm. You could be suffering from low thyroid or high thyroid. I have seen men who suffer from very low thyroid and they struggle with, when it's on the extreme, they struggle with maintaining weight. And there are others who become extremely overweight to the point that they are obese because of the thyroid activity. When I talk about the thyroid hormone, when you see me touching here, I'm saying this because that's where the thyroid hormone is. And this hormone is very important when it comes to the issues of metabolism. When it comes to the issue, when I say issue with metabolism, what I'm talking about is your ability to digest the food that you eat. It's very easy to eat food and you feel full the whole day and assume that is normal. It's very easy to eat food today and you're okay until tomorrow and you think that is normal. That is not normal. After 3 hours, you're supposed to feel hungry. You're supposed to want to eat something else. That is why you're supposed to eat 5 snacks in between the hours, in between 3 hours, and you bite something and you rejuvenate your energy. So if you one sign of hormonal imbalance is if you eat something today, you eat again tomorrow. Too long of spacing, it means that your metabolism isn't working the way it's supposed to work, right? And your thyroid isn't functioning the way it's supposed to function. One way of people who struggle with the thyroid infection, and it's also a hormone as well that is produced right here on the throat, both men and female, are those people who you will always find when they're talking, they go like, you know, have you ever, you ever interact with that person who every time they say something they want to clear their throat, it means their thyroid is a bit more active. Now, I want to connect these hormones. I've talked about estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and the thyroid hormone. I'll also talk about lipid hormone. I'll talk about the stress hormone. I'll talk about all those hormones one by one so that we can see how they affect the way we look, the way we feel, the way we behave, and the way we relate to situations. Because when your hormones are not balanced, even your moods, yani, you're this person who 1 minute you're the other you're the other you're, you keep shifting in between the state of mind because your hormones are fluctuating within yourself and you have no control over those hormones. So these hormones participate a lot in your total well-being. And the thing about hormones is that people don't talk about them, including gynecologists. Rarely will you ever go to a gyna who will tell you, let's do a hormonal test. Rarely will you go to a gyna. And if you have a gyna who talks about hormones, just to recommend that person everywhere. Let's all go to that particular gyna because this is somebody who understands the sex hormones of people. Whenever, if you're going through infertility, if you're going through the struggle of losing weight, people will always tell you, oh, you eat too much. Maybe you don't even know why you eat too much. It could be that your stress hormone is too high, so you don't get that fulfill. Fulfill in the sense that if you eat food, you should feel full. And when you feel full, you should stop eating, right? But there are those people who they keep eating, they never get that full fill. And even if they get that full fill, they still want to keep eating this still, but then the stomach just keeps accommodating and they don't even feel like they need to become sick. These are some of the situations or some of the examples to show out a bit there's one hormone that is not in place. And the reason why I'm not specifically focusing on one particular hormone is because it could be a variation of them all. It could be one in particular that is hyper or too low. It could be one that keeps fluctuating in between hyper and too low, or in between balanced hyper, too low. It keeps fluctuating in between depending on your diet, because also the things that you are eating as a person also affect your hormonal level. Now, allow me to break it down for you what I'm talking about, the connection between hormones. There's this issue of gluten. There are people who say I'm gluten intolerant, I'm lactose intolerant. What that means is that if you eat anything that has gluten, gluten is majorly found on flour or wheat, chapatis, mandazis, those kind of foods, anything that's made with dough. And the gluten is that thing that makes the dough stretch like this. It gives the ability of the flour to stretch and to cooperate and to be manipulated. It's manipulated into whatever it needs to be manipulated. So those people who experience intolerance to some of these things are as the result of thyroid, as a result of high and low progesterone and estrogen and testosterone hormones. And as a result, they are not able to digest. Your body itself isn't able to break down that gluten to add value to your body. It is converted into a fat or a starch. It doesn't add any value into your body, and your body isn't able to break it down. And as a result, it gets stuck in your stomach. That is why you see people who have a very huge stomach, when they reduce their intake of gluten, naturally the stomach goes down, right? But these are particularly blood group O's, are the ones who experience the lactose intolerant and the gluten intolerant, because their body or their cells are not able to break down this particular thing, because one hormone or the other hormone isn't functioning the way it's supposed to function, isn't at the level where it's supposed to be. Another connection between hormones and weight gain: if you have the stress hormone, for example, if you're a blood group O, you're not able to break down stress, right? So when you get stressed about things, you store them in your stomach. And now the stress hormone that is supposed to process that hormone accumulates in your stomach area. You begin to experience pains on your shoulders, pains around here. You experience pains on your neck. You're feeling a bit fatigued. You're feeling a bit tired. But if you go to the gym and you work out, then you're able to release that stress hormone. And all of a sudden, you feel calm and collected, right? But if you're a blood group type A, that doesn't work for you. What works for you is a calm environment, running and working out. Actually, and those are the people who you find they always want to run, they always want to work out, but they never really lose the weight, because the regime you're using to work your system isn't working together with your system. For example, if I was to eat eggs today, right? And I'm a blood group O. If I get very technical, let me know in the comment section so that I can calm down. So if I was to eat eggs today, and let's say I'm a blood group O, it's an egg. Blood group A, it's an egg. Blood group B, it's an egg. Blood group AB, it's an egg, right? All these four blood groups, which are the universal blood groups, each blood group has its own capability to get nutrients and value from that particular egg. The blood group that will get the best nutrients and will get the actual protein from the egg is the blood group O, hence the keto diet. It works very well because the biggest group of people are blood group O's. So when you get to ketosis, it means that you have increased your protein level and you have reduced your carbohydrates, right? So this only works with blood group O's. So they are able to break down the egg and absorb the protein from the egg, right? So it means the hormone that is responsible for breaking down the food is working the way it's supposed to work. But if a type A was to eat eggs, on the other hand, they will not get protein from it. Why? Because their body cells aren't able to break down the eggs into proteins. Is it making sense? But if now a blood group A was to take milk, then they will get the protein from the milk. But a blood group O will become lactose intolerant. What they end up feeling is bloated and too full. So instead of getting protein from that particular thing they have eaten, it is converted into something else. It's converted into a fat. It becomes a carbohydrate instead of a protein. And now it is stored where? In your stomach or the gut area. Hence, the reason why you see people who have hormonal imbalance, they have a lot of weight within the stomach area. And this stomach isn't a normal stomach like the way you see a normal stomach. It distends and it flows down and it almost comes like it's lying on your thighs. This is a stomach that is caused by hormonal imbalance. Now, the connection between your hormones and your weight is quite direct. Your ability to digest the food you have eaten and absorb the nutrients from the food that you have eaten shows the level where your hormones are at. If I was to, like now, for example, I understand my body type, I understand my blood type, I understand my hormones because I do hormonal tests. I understand these things. So I know if I'm eating, for example, if I choose from today, I'll eat bread in the morning for breakfast. For the next 2 weeks, you will see it on my weight. You will see that my stomach is bloated. You'll see that my stomach is distended. In fact, even when I wear a dress, people will always ask me, are you pregnant? That's the question you'll always get because the stomach comes out, right? Because my body isn't processing this food and it is not removing the food from my stomach. So if it's not getting the nutrient it's supposed to get, right? For example, in an egg, you're supposed to get protein. So if my body isn't supposed to suck the protein out of the egg and my body absorbs the protein, then what my body does, it converts that egg into fat. And sasa hii fat, because it's in excess and it's not being used. I'm not a runner, I'm not an athletist, I don't inua chumas, I don't do anything that I need to convert this fat into energy. So where does it get stored? In the stomach area. It gets stored within the body. So supposing I went on a regime of trying to lose weight and I still maintained eating this particular kind of a product, would I achieve the ultimate goal, which is to lose weight? Do you think I'll be able to achieve it? No, I would not be able to achieve it because my hormones, my weight, and my diet, they go hand in hand together. The ability to take the nutrients is very important in your body. Now, when it comes to hormones and your sexual drive, and I want to talk about specifically the testosterone hormone because it's the hormone that is known and majorly focuses on men. There's this stereotyping or assumption or status quo that every man is sexually active, that every man is in tune with their sexuality. And there is this thing of it is 2 minutes, it is what it is, right? So these are some of the things that can illustrate low testosterone or high testosterone. If you're a gentleman and you don't feel sexually active, you don't feel turned on, you don't feel the need to engage in sexual activity, like if you have sex once a month, you're good to go, your testosterone levels are too low. Because in every 3 days, there's a bunch of new sperms that is produced by your body. And these new sperms need to come out. Hence the erection. That's the reason why you have wet dreams when you're a teenager. Hence the reason why you go through this period of trying to ejaculate. There's that need to just ejaculate because these sperms, there's a new set of sperms that needs to come out so that a factory can manufacture others. Would you imagine a scenario where a factory that produces yogurt every 3 days they produce maybe 1,000 yogurts. Like, let's talk about in millions because sperms are produced in millions. And they produce 1 million packages of yogurts. They pack them and they pile them in a shelf, right? Another 3 days come, they don't release the yogurts, they still remain there. They don't sell them, they don't dispatch them, they still remain there, right? Another 3 days come, the same factory reproduces another set of yogurts. They pile them. right? And then another 3 days come, and then they produce another million or billions of sets of yogurts, and they pile them. They don't dispatch them. And this person seems to be normal. They seem to be okay 1 week after another, 1 week after another, 1 week after another. Do you see the abnormality in this? In every 3 days, there should be that urge or that need for you to release those hormones. So if you're not feeling sexually active the way you should be, then your testosterone levels are either too high or too low. Now, when it comes to the too high, these are the ones who become sex addicts. With every 48 hours or 12 hours or 8 hours, they have to engage in a sexual activity to relieve themselves of the production of sperms. So that means the testosterone level is too high. The sperms are the testosterone. This hormone is hyperactive. It's moving too fast than where it's supposed to be at a regulatory level. So same thing. Focus on that particular hormone as well. At a particular age, between the age of 18 to about 28, you should be at the peak of your sexuality as a gentleman, also as ladies. So, but for women, we become a bit late when you're almost clocking menopause. That's when your sexuality hypes up. But this particular gentleman, by the time you're 20, getting to 28, you're at this, you should be at the peak of your sexuality. If at this age in between is when you're lasting 2 minutes and it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is, then it means there's a problem with your hormone, right? There are other things that come to play with the same. There's the issue of sexual orientation. We are not being ignorant to this. It's because today we are specifically talking about the effects of hormonal imbalance onto our weight, our diet, and the way we are in wholesome, our moods. So there are other things that come to play that contribute to low stamina and low libido. Could be sexual orientation, the way you are introduced to sex plays a very key role in how long you last, in how much effort you put into your partner, and how much work you put into it. The orientation plays a very key role of that. But putting that aside, today we are basically focusing more on the hormones that are sex hormones. These are the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. These are the sex hormones that we are majorly focusing on, and lipid, which is the stress hormone. Because again, when your stress hormone is imbalanced, or it's too high or it's too low, this is where you find if it's too low, you have very low appetite. You don't want to eat. You are the kind of person who, when you get stressed, you don't eat. You rapidly and regularly lose weight depending on how stressed you are. Or they're the kind of person who, when you get stressed, you gain weight because you're constantly eating. You don't stop. You don't get the full fill. So yes, you're gaining the weight. Yes, the food is not being of nutritional value to you. It's being converted into fat, and you're gaining the weight, but you can't stop eating, right? Hence the keto concept, right? So you have to be able to, in order for you to be able to stop eating and to stop snacking too much, or to eat enough that you need to eat, then your hormones need to be at the right place, right? So now we say that the thyroid hormone is responsible for our metabolism, our ability to digest what we have eaten. Now, one way to know that your hormones are working the way they're supposed to work, both your stress, and by the way, if your any of these sex hormones are low, your metabolism isn't working the way it's supposed to work. I know I keep connecting them, and somebody's thinking, Nakabi, what's the connection between the hormones? And I'm coming to the comment section to see all the questions and all the comments you have left me right there. So ask your questions about the comments. Let me know what are some of the things that stand out for you, so that I will be responding to them in a minute. So your gut, your hormones, your weight are like SIM card and credit. They go together. And infertility and fertility and all that falls under reproduction health. So your reproduction health, your gut, and your sex drive, all those things, they go together with your hormones. They are intertwined together, because without the estrogen level, without the estrogen hormone, as a lady, you'd probably not develop any breast, or you'd probably not develop any pubic hair. You'd probably not develop your sexuality, or as a gentleman, you'd probably not deepen your voice, right? You'd probably not broaden your chest and get your chest hairs. sexuality or your sex set wouldn't come out without these hormones. So they work together. There's no way you can be with this, you can be without this hormone, or this hormone can be without, excuse me, without the other. So these hormones play a very key role in your sexuality, in your diet, and in your weight gain. Because again, when you have the issue with weight, then you have the issue with your respiratory system. You have an issue with breathing. You have an issue with opening your lungs and shutting them up. You have an issue with processing stress. So therefore, automatically, your sexual performance is affected. Automatically. It's not rocket science. Yani, your performance just if you can't go up a flight of stairs, how are you expected to perform for 10 minutes? This is how we are looking, we are looking at it. So we are here. We are talking about the gut, which is the stomach, and your ability to digest. And we've talked about some of the things that you need to look at in order to know, yes, my hormones are at the right place. Number one, how long does the food stay in your stomach when you eat it? If I eat dinner right now and I go to bed, that's about 8 hours. And I wake up in the morning and I don't take breakfast because I'm still full. It's called breakfast because it means you break the fast. You are fasting for almost 8 hours, but you wake up in the morning and you're still full and you take a shower and you go to work. There's a problem with your hormones. On that same morning that you have woken up, you didn't go to the washroom. So all the food you ate, where is it if you've not taken out the excess? Because the body does not absorb everything that we give it. That is why what it doesn't absorb, it either converts into fat or converts it into a waste, and it comes out in the morning. So if you're not able to go to the washroom in the morning, is another sign that your hormones are not balanced. Blood group A's do not experience challenges with moving their bowels unless you have a habit of eating meat. Then you have a problem with going to the washroom. But if you're somebody who likes vegetables, blood group A's are vegetarians. They love vegetables, they eat a lot of fiber. So they have no problem with going to the washroom. What am I saying when I say blood group A's? When they have a habit of eating meat? Like blood groups O's aren't able to process milk. We convert it into fat. Blood group A's, when they eat meat, they don't get protein from it. What they get is fat because the body isn't able to break down the meat and remove the protein so that the body can absorb the protein. But when you take milk, the body breaks down the milk, sucks the protein out of it, and they are able to get protein. So blood group A's, when you eat meat, what you have done is you've eaten is equivalent to eating a carbohydrate. So you have not really eaten any protein. But if you are to eat an egg, if you are to take a glass of milk, then it helps you, it gives you the protein effect, right? I don't know if I'm making sense. Let me know in the comment section if I'm making sense, if you're understanding what I'm talking about. So these are some of the things that play a very key role. So we've talked about the metabolism, we've talked about the morning routine. You've slept for 8 hours, you haven't broken the fast, you haven't taken breakfast because you're still feeling full. Your body hasn't digested the food yet. In an ideal scenario, or in an ideal functioning body that is functioning the way it's supposed to function, you should be feeling hungry in the morning when you wake up. You should go for a long call in the morning when you wake up to clean out your system. It means your hormones are working the way they're supposed to be working. Now, ask me about weight. What has my going to the toilet got to do with weight? What happens if you're not going to the toilet as frequently as you should, at least 2 times a day or at least 1 time a day? What that means is that the food that you have taken and the water that has been removed from that food, hence constipation, and you struggle going to the toilet after a day, it begins to come into your skin and you begin to have what is called water retention. So it's there on your skin. You always look, when you look at your hands like this, they feel like they're swollen, but they're not swollen, right? You look at them and you can feel, hey, kind of, you feel like they're swollen. Your feet, they feel like they're swollen. So you have that excess weight that is coming from the water retention. And then you have the fluctuation of weight because if you eat properly and you eat the right diet and you start going to the toilet properly, the water retention goes down. So you lose the weight. You find that today you're 30 kgs, tomorrow you're 32 kgs. in the evening ukipima uko 30 kg. So hizi kilo mbili zinacheza cat and mouse here. Where are they coming from? They are coming from that retention of water and the release of the water. And it's very easy to know if you have retention of water. When you look at your palms like this, when you put out your palms like this on this side, you should be able to see. You should be able to see like you have some level of some weight on it. It's like they're swollen, it's like they're not, it's like they look like ni kama zimevimba, ni kama hazijavimba. I don't have water retention, so you can see how a normal skin should be. But there are times that I normally have water retention and you can see it on the skin. So that what that tells me, my thyroid hormone isn't functioning the way it's supposed to function. My lipid hormone isn't performing the way it's supposed to perform. The sleep hormone isn't performing the way it's supposed to perform. And that's why you find that you have insomnia. Umekaa tu hapo usiku saa 9, saa 7, saa 8, saa 10, boss, hujalala. And then when you're supposed to be sleeping, voila. Now when you're supposed to be waking up to go do other things, sleep has come up. When your hormones are in the right place, your sleep hormone, your stress hormone, your sex hormones are in the right place, then it means that your body works. The body itself is created to work a particular way. The body knows it's time to rest. When it comes to 9 o'clock, the body knows it's time to rest. The body knows it needs to sleep for at least 8 hours. Why do you need to sleep for at least 8 hours? So that the cells can rejuvenate. You can have new fresh cells. The ones that have died, they can be replenished and replaced. So the sleep period is very important for your body. Again, it allows everything to settle down, and now the body begins to work itself out. And that's why you find people who sleep, they don't have these dark eyes over here, their eyes are not popping out, and they're not yani everything just falls into place when these hormones are working out. Now allow me to go to the comment section. We start from bottoms up. I don't know why this thing is rotating. So we have Victorian Kada who is saying, I am learning so much. Where? I'm so excited, darling. You're learning so much. Let me know what you're learning in the comment section down below. We have Nimo who is saying very insightful for a type A blood. Yes, if you're a type A blood, this is very informative for you, that you should be a vegetarian. Please eat a lot of vegetables that will help you to naturally balance your hormones. We have Responding to Life who is saying, thank you for teaching us. Nyokabi, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. We have Responding to Life who is saying, these are the conversations people shy away from. Yes, 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 yes. People don't want to talk about these things because they make them very uncomfortable. We have Oweru who is saying, I like calm environments. Yes, because you are a type A, and calm environments, they help your stress hormone to level out. So if you're a type A, just to add on what she's talking about, Nemo, if you're a type A and you go to work out vigorously, it doesn't really help you. It doesn't relax you, right? It doesn't calm down. You still get the stress that you get from your stress hormone being imbalanced. But if you are a type O and you go run, right, and you're feeling, I'm so stressed, I'm so tired, because you can always feel when you're stressed. There are things that come with feeling stress. Just take a run, go run. And not the funny thing and the irony about life, blood groups A's are more committed to running than blood group O's. And it doesn't help them. It should be vice versa. So blood group O's are the ones who are always trying to go to a calm environment, because generally blood groups O's are very hyper and very active and very vibrant. So they are always looking for calm environments, trying to calm themselves down. What you need is to go to a gym and work out vigorously, and it will help you balance out your stress hormone. So we have just a minute, allow me to reach up again. We have another comment here that is saying that from Nemo, she's saying, oh wow, my laptop has refused to highlight. Oh wow, okay. So it's saying like LOL blood group A. She's a blood group A. She's very excited to learn about her blood group. We have Victorian Kata who is saying taking lots of notes. Oh, thank you so much. I hope you're learning so much. You have the issue she's mentioning about weight. She's also talking about I am here to learn and know more about my hormonal imbalance and my weight loss struggles. Let me tell you something about weight loss and hormones. Weight loss and hormones is like a scenario of a person or a couple that are trying to conceive. And you go into a fertility clinic or you go in to see a gynecologist, like most people who are trying to lose weight to go to the gym, or they go into a diet kind of a program. You go in to see a gynecologist to help you, right? To help you conceive or to help you have a child. What is the first thing that they do? They check whether your tubes are blocked, the normal issues. They check whether you have a womb and the womb can hold a pregnancy. And then they tell you you're normal, relax, stop stressing, go home and keep trying. Or maybe they look for a problem that is fixable, right? They look for an issue that they can give you drugs that can settle that issue. But nobody really talks about the issue like progesterone. Progesterone is the hormone that helps you to get pregnant, and you keep going to this particular fertility clinic and you keep going to this gynecologist, and they don't tell you anything about progesterone. They go, they do a sperm count for your partner. They see the sperms are the same level where they're supposed to be, or they have a low sperm count, and nobody bothers to ask, why does this person have a low sperm count? There's a reason why they're not producing the sperms that they're supposed to produce on a daily basis on a normal count. So they don't really get down to the reason why. So the same case, and I'm not comparing the two cases to be ignorant to mean the same thing, but the struggle is quite similar. So somebody who is trying to lose weight, they have gone on a diet, it doesn't work, right? You've tried following keto diet, you've tried following all kinds of diets that are out there, you've tried following them, they don't work. You've tried going to the gym, you work out, you're dedicated, you work seven 7 days a week, or even 3 days a week, or even one day a week should be enough to keep you fit and to help you maintain and regulate your weight, but you still don't see any difference. You still have this weight. But when you go to this particular person who is supposed to be a specialist, who is supposed to have more knowledge and understanding of your struggle, they're ignorant. They really don't know the why. So if you've worked out, it's not helping. If you've tried to change your diet, it's not helping. If you've tried to control how much you're eating, and nobody is telling you if you eat at 7, at 8, 9, 10, you should feel hungry. If you're not feeling hungry, why are you not feeling hungry? If you eat one meal a day, it is abnormal. Nobody sits you down and asks you, okay, explain to me, what do you eat on a daily basis? And when you eat, how often do you eat? And when you eat as often as you do, how often do you remove the waste? Because you are what you eat. You either eat what is medicine to your body, or you eat what is poison to your body. Medicine in the sense that you understand that your body is able to break down this particular thing that I've eaten. And how do you know that? When you eat something and within 3 hours you're hungry, then your body has broken it down. It has either converted it into fat, or it has converted it into nutrients, or it has converted it into nutrients and has dispatched what it doesn't need. So therefore you feel the need to go to the washroom. Again, the looseness of your washroom also plays a very key role in how your body is processing. So you are what you eat, in the sense that you've eaten something that is of great value. It is medicine to your body. For example, I gave the issue of protein from eggs, from meat, and from milk. And I illustrated from which blood groups you should eat these particular things, because each blood group has its own hormonal struggle, right? And if you're a man, you have this hormone that you're struggling with is testosterone. You have the issue of progesterone. You have the issue of estrogen, which you're ignorant to. And yet, men, when they're in their puberty, they get facial breakout like we do, right? They get their voice breakouts like the ladies do. They get their chest broadening, and so they have the sex hormones that are working within them, but we are ignorant to them. We only want to talk about the hormone that we know, which is testosterone hormone. We have men who, when they're stressed, they don't want to engage in sexual activity, but nobody is asking, why aren't you interested in doing it? There's something within your body that is not functioning the way it's supposed to function. So back to the issue of the struggle of weight gain. If you don't understand why you're gaining weight or losing weight, because there are people who struggle with gaining weight because of the thyroid hormone. Most people who struggle with gaining weight, you're always skinny. Umekula mayai sita, umekula avocado tano, umekula pizza. Yani they even try to feed themselves food through tubes and everything, and the body is just not responding. They're just skinny, because weight struggle goes both ways. It's either you're too big, you're almost obese, And obese is not necessarily the weight that you think about. If your BMI, if your height and your weight are not working together, then you're almost obese. You're on the other side of obese. And I know I say this and people go like, ah, yes, you can be skinny and be obese, right? So it's about your BMI, your level of your BMI with the weight, your height, and your size. So they should work together. They should go hand in hand together. And now right now in Kenya, we have a machine that helps you to measure the three. You can measure your weight, you can measure your height, and you can measure your BMI. And you can also measure the fat that's on your body so that you know whether you have the healthy fats or you have the bad. You have cholesterol, you have the good cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, right? So coming back to the weight struggle. So if you're here and you're struggling with this weight, you're trying to gain weight, you're not able to. You're eating food because most people assume people gain weight because they're eating. Then what about those people who they're skinny and they're trying to gain weight and they're eating their asses off and they're not gaining the weight? So the food they're eating isn't food like the big people are eating, right? So you see there's like a gap there that we are not feeling, that we are not discussing. So this person, it could be the hormone that they have. Have a hormone that is hyper, the thyroid hormone, that no matter how much they eat, until they balance their hormones, they will never gain the weight. And until you balance your hormones, you will not lose the weight. So let's talk about how to lose the weight. Oh, I love that. Your BMI, your weight, your height, and all that. All those things play a very key role. I want to talk about some of the solutions because I have talked about the problem. Then it's always good to talk about solutions when you talk about problems. So, what are the solutions to balance your hormones? Number one, you have to know what you're balancing. You can't just go balancing stuff. Hata ukienda kubalance miguu za gari, you have to measure, you have to know the size of that wheel, you have to know that size, particular size of wheel inawekangwa pumsi inatoshana aje. So the first thing, if you are suspecting that you have hormonal imbalance, is to do tests. And we have such facilities here in Kenya on 4th Avenue. You can go there and do your hormonal tests at very affordable prices, especially if you're a man and you're struggling with your testosterone hormone. Just go do it. The doctors will guide you and they'll advise you. When you explain to them what you're struggling with, they will be able, or you can just go to the University of Google and look at the symptoms and the things you're facing and look at which hormone in particular, because the hormones are broken down into three, like the thyroid hormone is broken down into three. So you can be able to know which one exactly by going to the University of Google. Number one is to test. Number two is to know your symptoms and be as honest as you can be, because hormonal imbalance has symptoms like any other illness. If you have a cold, you have a running nose, you have a dry throat, you have a cough. So when you have hormonal imbalance, you have symptoms. You have what I talked about, water retention. You have what I talked about, loose bowel or no or constipated bowel. You have bloating. You have heat rashes. You have outbreaks. Yani, there are so many symptoms to hormonal imbalance you will not believe. You have cold feet. You feel cold on your feet. You feel cold rapidly when things are hot. You have the clearing. That's a thyroid issue. You have low libido, you have no stamina, you have, all those things are symptoms. Just like any other illness, hormonal imbalance has symptoms. So highlight those symptoms for yourself. It is easy to discover whether it is PCOS for the ladies, whether it is thyroid, whether it is testosterone, whichever hormone it is. The University of Google provides these things for you, and I would like to provide those links in the comment section where you can just go through and look at them and see which one applies to you, right? So know the symptoms, identify the symptoms. Number three, once you have identified the symptoms, number three, know your blood group. It is paramount to know your blood group. It is like going to buy a Mercedes in a Subaru shop. You cannot go to buy a Mercedes in a Subaru shop. You have to go to either a Subaru shop or a Mercedes shop to get the brand that you want. Understand your blood group, because each blood group behaves differently. And that is why some blood groups are compatible and others aren't, because the cells are different and the functionalities are different. So number three, know your blood group. You are either a blood group O or positive or negative. It doesn't matter. You're a blood group O. If you're a type A, you're a blood group type A. It doesn't matter. Kuna positive na kuna negative. If you are a blood group B or you are an AB, know your blood group and understand your blood group. Now, once you have known your blood group, understand your body. By knowing your blood group, it will help you know what to eat and what not to eat. Like I said, when a blood group A eats meat, it is equivalent to eating a carbohydrates, because their body or their cells in the body aren't able to break down the meat into protein. So they break down the meat into a fat and they store it as a starch in your stomach. So once you understand your blood group, then you know what you can eat and what you cannot eat. Now, another way to know which foods works for you is the food you're able to digest within 3 hours and you can move your bowel easily. And when I say moving your bowel, I don't mean diarrhea. I don't mean constipate. I mean it in the toilet seat and the stool comes out without any hassle, without sweating, without crying, without constipating, without cracking your anus. Just sit in a bowel seat, just sit in the toilet bowl and the stool comes out. So you will know if you eat something in particular, it makes you feel bloated. It makes you feel, it drains energy out of you. It just makes you feel some type of way. Then that food your body isn't able to digest. If you struggle, if you're the kind of person like me, if I eat chapati, siku tatu ndio chapati itatoka kwa mwili. Just try to avoid or find gluten free. There is gluten free that you can use to make very nice chapatis. I've talked about this in my YouTube channel. I've done the recipes in my YouTube channel. So these are the things that you can do to substitute and to replace these foods that you're not able to eat. Now, once you know the food that you're eating, categorize the food that you're eating. If you're struggling with diet, what I do to help me, for those people who are addicted to fast foods, chocolates, these foods that are not good for you, sodas, this food is not good for you. Girl, I'm talking to you. You know those popcorns are not good for you. What I do to help me not eat these things is that I look at that food and I say, are you medicine or are you poison? Today, are we poisoning the body or are we blessing the body? And I found that to really help me a lot dissociate myself and separate from eating foods that are not valuable to me. So categorize your food: poison, medicine. Choose. If today we are poisoning the body, eat whatever you're eating, knowing unakula hizo crisps, you're poisoning the body. You're cooling those chocolates. There are chocolates that are good for you. The dark chocolates are very good for you and they are very excellent for balancing your hormones. Eat those things. Number 5, eat things that balance hormones. There are foods that help you to balance your hormones. There are superfoods that are excellent for sexual drive and metabolism. Now, I'll just talk about the sexual drive ones because people will drive me crazy in the comment section if I don't. So you can take foods like black maca, yellow maca, or red maca. For the women, go for the red maca. For the men, go for the black maca. Yellow, I haven't done I did a lot of research on this, and for me, yellow doesn't work. So, and I find for me, red works very well and black maca works very well for men. You will even see the difference in the performance and the ability to maintain a hard-on. It will help you balance your hormones naturally. How do you take these products? Red maca or black maca for the men, with your tea, with your cup of tea. Just take it with your cup of tea. If you have low libido, ladies, just form a habit of taking a cup of hibiscus tea. For God's sake, when you come from work and you're trying to relax and you're trying to have a good time, you're trying to watch a movie, just take a hibiscus, weka kwa kikombe and some water. And it's so sweet and it's so nice. And as you take it, it helps you to balance your hormones naturally. You don't have to go for things that are hard. Using grapes, red grapes, green grapes, red grapes, raspberries, strawberries. These are things that will help you with your hormones. The use of Greek yogurt. Ladies, befriend probiotics. When I talk about probiotics, I'm talking about Greek yogurt. I'm talking about maziwa mala. I'm talking about kefir. I'm talking about kombucha. I'm talking about kemcha. I'm talking about fermented foods. Fermented foods will help you balance your hormones naturally without going to get the Starbucks products or going to the chemist and getting, you know, those kind of products. Number two, know which vitamins you're low on. For example, and I want to talk about the vitamin, and I want to see whether I can access my vitamin right here. Vitamin B12 is one of the vitamins that can be very low in your body and you're not aware, and it really affects your hormones, because getting vitamin B12, you need to eat spinach, you need to eat a lot of vegetables to be able to get vitamin B12. So you can be low on some vita, or on you can be low on some nutrients, or what do I call them? You can be low on what are they called? The word has run out of my head. Let me know in the comment section what some of those things you can be low. And taking a supplement, such as a good quality supplement like a vitamin B12, will help you so much in achieving what you want to do. If you're a lady and you're trying to get pregnant and you're struggling with your sex hormones and you're trying to get your sex hormones going, taking of something like folic acid plays a very key role in improving your bone density, in improving your progesterone hormone, because that is the one that works with your bones. These are some of the things that you can and will use and will help you balance your hormones naturally. So foods and the use of properly tested and confirmed supplements, they'll help you. But before you start taking a supplement because you think you have a deficiency of a particular element, you need to do a test and confirm. You need to look at your symptoms and confirm that, yes, I am struggling with this. So if you're struggling with your sexuality, if you're struggling with your metabolism, if you're struggling with any of these things, do test, confirm your symptoms, and then take the necessary actions. Now, I want to just slightly slide into the comment sections before we finish. We are out of time. Before I appreciate each and every one of you. Oh my God, that is so true. I don't know what has resonated with you so much. I wish I knew. I wish you had highlighted for me what has really resonated out for you and what has stood out for you so much. So it's food that help you in balancing your hormones. That was our fifth point. Ensure that you eat foods that help you with balancing your hormones. Now, finally, our sixth thing to help us balance with our hormones. Don't just live life to just live it. Don't just wake up in the morning to wake up and go to bed to just sleep. Live a purposeful life, a meaningful life. Have a beautiful, healthy relationship with yourself and with your body. Before you can have a relationship with anybody else, start with yourself. Start by understanding, when I eat beans, they make my stomach swell. Why? When I eat beans, I get a lot of gas. Why? Begin to build a relationship with yourself. You can learn all these things, you can learn all these tricks, but if you don't have a relationship with yourself, then you will not invest in yourself. Build, and when I talk about building, it means you need to take time and understand. You need to be observant, you need to be self-aware, you need to be alert, you need to be conversant or connected with your surroundings, so that the information that is shared here at Awakening the Life Within You can be of great value to you. So you can take this and say, oh, the reason why I have weight is because my hormones are not balanced. And then you don't go ahead to do what it takes to balance those hormones. You don't go ahead to change what you need to check because you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself. Then this information doesn't help you in any way. But the difference between wisdom and learning is the ability to implement what you have learned. That is what wisdom is. If you learn something new every day, every day, every day, what you become is a learned person. What you become is somebody who knows a lot of things about everything. But what distinguishes you from learned people, because learned people are many. Like I said, there's a lot of knowledge. There's the University of YouTube, the University of Google, where you can learn so much and you can hear so much. There's so many me out there that are coaching you on life, coaching you on hormones, coaching you on relationships. But if you don't implement what you learn, if you don't take it to practical and to effect, then it's just knowledge. It's just knowledge. It's just a book on a shelf gathering dust. Ensure every single thing that you learn as a person, you practice it, you put it into practice, you implement it, you have a game plan of how you're going to go about it. And in the process, it becomes a part of who you are. And you naturally take care of yourself. You naturally look good. You naturally feel good. Your energy levels come up because when your hormones are balanced, your energy levels come back. When your hormones are imbalanced, you feel so tired, so fatigued all the time. You wake up tired, you go to sleep tired, you eat at lunch and tired, you do everything tired. But if your hormones balance, you have energy that you don't know where it's coming from. And instead of going to take a Monster or a Red Bull, why don't you take all berries, blackberries, blueberries, and blend them with some water and take it? It's a natural energy booster. It will just lift your spirits and give you the energy that you need. And in the process, balance that hormone that is making you feel drained and tired. So, the most important thing about this whole conversation is to motivate you and to challenge you to live a purposeful life and a meaningful life by implementing what you have learned. I challenge you today to go to the University of YouTube, go to the University of Google, and actually come to the comment section and tell me, Nyokabi, you say this, and I discovered this, and I discovered that. And let's engage each other and let's learn from one another so that by the time tomorrow is coming, we will rise up a different person. My name is Nyokabi GK Kamau, and I am your all-time relationship coach, and this is Awakening the Life Within You. We meet here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. East African time. We meet here every single Thursday for free, and we have conversations about self-care, self-love. We create awareness and sensitization of how we should be living life meaningful. Stop complaining you're overweight. Stop complaining you hate your stomach. Stop complaining, oh, these outbreaks, I have tried all kinds of creams. Why don't you try just taking a glass of water every morning when you wake up, at lunchtime, and in the evening? Start with 3 glasses of water and just clean out the toxics and balance that hormone that is giving you those outbreaks. And naturally, without creams of 2,000, 5,000, 3,000 Kenyan shillings, you begin to see that your face works out and it just becomes so smooth on its own. So I challenge you today to make a difference in your life. I want to thank each and every person that joined me in the comment section. God bless you so much, so much. I have amazing comments. They are really encouraging to hear such things as such as a wonderful lesson that you've learned something. I truly appreciate that, and I bless God for you, and I thank you so much, and see you on Thursday, same time, same place.